person here, yes, directly inside the farm.
Right now, after months of struggle, Bitcoin bulls have finally managed to chew through the breakout level of $70,000 over the weekend. Now, setting new record highs above $82,380. Now, with BTC in a price discovery mode after the re-election of Donald Trump's return to the White House, the most pressing question for traders is, what's the next resistance level that could challenge the bulls, drawing a trend line off the April 2021 peak of $64,898 and the November 2021 high of around $69,000 and extending it forward. We can see that the resistance lies around $90,000, which is now inside as BTC keep hitting higher highs. All right, now with this information and the numbers that we are seeing, we are now joined by our very own business editor, Peter Wakaba, to just delve deeper into these numbers, to just explain what this means for Bitcoin and cryptocurrency going forward. Thank you so much for joining us.
Asante sana.
Yes. So now we are seeing these numbers. We are now looking at over 80,000.
Yes.
So what does this mean, first of all, and what do you think from where you sit?
So in the last few minutes, it's essentially hit, I think, 82,340, something like that.
Yes.
So essentially challenging new highs. It's expected that in the next few hours, next few days, we might hit the 90,000. That's a dollar mark for one Bitcoin. But again, this is a market, so it could go both ways. Of course, those are projections. And of course, to remember that we've just come out of a very long bear market where we had seen very low lows approaching at some point 49,000. And then now this recovery. Mainly the thing that seems to be driving this is the re-election of Donald Trump. We know that Elon Musk, who's associated with several different coins, including Doge, which is DOGE, is sort of then seen as being a boon for the market because he has been pro-crypto before, at some point launching a coin with his face on it and NFTs, so looking positive.
Okay. All right, and now for crypto currencies in Kenya, people who are included in this and they usually trade in Bitcoin.
Yes.
What does this mean for them?
So first, of course, is to note that this is not investment advice, so people have to do their own research and make their own decisions. And also to remind them that the Central Bank of Kenya does frown directly on crypto. They haven't given the green light. But then to sort of say that this being the new frontier of the world of finance, the opportunities definitely, whether in launching of coins or even trading, we've seen that across the board, the entire crypto market has turned bullish, with, of course, Bitcoin leading the charge. As it has hit new highs, various other coins have also sort of been spurred along and are moving in different directions. There's a thing we call buying the dip, such that you invest when the market is low. Most people are hearing about the Bitcoin today because it's hitting new highs.
Yes.
Now is not the time to get in. Now is the time to do your research, because if you buy now and then the price falls, then essentially you're losing money. But if you do your research, start to get into the market, try with small amounts of money for experience and burn your fingers. Or if you do well, you do well. Then at some point when the market does fall, you'll be able to get in at what we'll call the bottom of the market. And when it does go up or turn bullish, as we've seen since the weekend, there's money to be made. Think of someone who bought in at 50,000 or 49,000 when it was at the bottom of the market. Essentially, you're looking at doubling your money in the space of 3-4 months. So for people who have good amounts, money that you don't need, money that you're not investing in anything else, money that's not earmarked for something else, then you can put it here and see where it goes. The challenge people create is you will come in with unreasonable expectations, think things will be rosy. I've seen people who have a project and then they say, wacha niongeze hii pesa ya mjengo. You put it there, it's not a bet. Because if it goes the other way and you're forced to sell, then you book those losses and you lose your money. Yes.
And even as you've mentioned, people are now want to just come in. now that it has hit the highs.
Yes.
Of course, we're going to see very many numbers of people coming in. What is the risk of that?
And so usually in open market, and people are told to come in with objectives, for long-term investment, we say that you can come in whenever you want, so long as you don't need your money now, because you can wait the market out. But there are different ways to invest. One of the simplest is what we call dollar averaging, which means that you can come in at periodic times, for example, of the month, throughout for a whole year, for example, no matter where the market is. So that if you put in $100 on the first of every month, whether the market is high or low, and you do that for 5 years, guaranteed that you will make money because the market has averaged you out in terms of coming in when the market is low, coming in when the market is high. So you stand to make quite good amounts so long as you're able to wait it out. If you are a suave investor and you can do the research, of course, the market is quite deep on various different platforms like Binance, OKX, Bybit, and others. But the key thing is to have an objective in place, so that why am I coming in here? There are thousands of coins. What coin am I going to invest in? How am I going to get in? Even getting in is interesting and a real challenge because of the know your customer rules. Then, of course, there is the issue of scams. Lots of people do get scammed. So that if you're trying to get in here, of course, figure out which market you want to get into.
Yeah.
Alafu, do your research and then go to the market itself without having to go to an intermediary, because all these things are online. Yes.
And now that we are getting into the holiday season, of course, the Christmas period,
yes.
What are we looking at in terms of, because we've seen it might reach 90,000. So what are we looking at in terms of, will it go past that? And if it goes past that, what does that mean for someone who wants to just start getting into Bitcoin?
So the key thing to remember is that the market goes up and down, guaranteed. It will never go one way. Just like the Nairobi Securities Exchange, where some years it's high, some years it's low. The market will always retrace its steps. It will always walk backwards, so that even if it hits this 90 or even goes past, maybe come January or come December or come next week, it's going to have retraced to 60,000 or less. So for me, the key thing is, again, to do your research, figure out what your investment objectives are, do your research around the coins you want to invest in, then wait for the cycle. Because sure as rain, vile imepanda ndivyo itashuka. So you will be able to come in at the bottom of the market so long as you have discipline. We have a thing we call the fear and greed index. The best time to invest is when everyone else is fearful. So everyone else is very fearful when the market is falling because they think they're going to lose money. It is best to sell when everyone is greedy. Like now it's going to 90, so to say.
Yes.
People are greedy because they think they'll make money. So if you bought in early and unaangoja tu, then you sell. And make your cash. Yes.
That's very true, actually. And now finally, as we look at these numbers, and the Trump re-election is the one that seemed to have catalyzed this. So what does this speak to developing nations who are getting into this, and people who are there who are getting into cryptocurrency? A
lot of governments have experimented with CBDCs, so digital currencies, essentially, with mixed results. We've seen arrest, harassment of market officials in various countries. Because we know, the thing about crypto is that it's simply decentralized money. It's not issued by central banks, hence the risk, hence the reward. So the returns are fairly high because the risk is also high. The chances of losing your shirt, losing all your money is also quite high. So it does take a bit of discipline. And then the market has deepened because of what we call derivatives. So there's different ways to get into the market. The simplest is what we call the over-the-counter trade, where people exchange these cryptos and pay each other directly over the local market. So there's a Kenya-facing market, there's a Uganda-facing market. So each country has its own, based on the markets like Binance and others. So for me, key thing, start learning if you're interested in this space. And to mention that on Thursday, or I think on the 14th, the Standard Group Business Desk is putting together a podcast around this with Binance, just to try and get people to understand how to get into the market, how not to get scammed, where there's money to be made, what the opportunities are, that sort of thing. So it would be nice for people to look out for that.
Yes.
And get a bit of learning.
All right, thank you so much for breaking this down. That is Peter Okaba, our very own business editor right here on KTN, just breaking down the Bitcoin numbers and what this means going